This is Leaf Life. All things cannabis for all people. Now, Ricker and the Bearded Lorax.
We publish a free magazine called The Leaf, and it's available in print in 13 states at your local cannabis retailer, and you can also pick it up online at leafmagazines.com. I'm Mike Ricker, your host of Leaf Life, with my co-host and partner in crime, Wes Abney, also known as the Bearded Lorax.
I speak for the trees.
And there's AJ OG.
Aloha, hola, OG.
And Mary J. White.
The smoking female.
Oh, yeah,
A recent statistic shows that the average American consumes enough plastic each week to produce the equivalent of a credit card. So it's no surprise that eco-minded people are urging for more healthy options to contain their food and drink. And in the cannabis industry, there has to be something better than doob tubes and mylar bags.
Really?
This is sustainable packaging.
Does that credit card come with like a swipe function? I'm intrigued.
Swipe your stomach across the thing.
No.
Now it's the butt crack, Wes. You just slide it down and you instantly get rich.
Nice.
Our
That's where the
first
plastic's
segment,
going.
Yeah, single serve society. And in our second segment, a farmer's market future. But before we get educated, we just have to get medicated. So let's get stoned.
Yeah, let's go.
AJ's favorite time of the day.
Load 'em up, baby.
And you out there listening, wherever your day has led you, now it's time to fire up, chew up, or drink up and get in the mood as we introduce this show's Greg the Guinea Pig.
Hi, I'm Greg, and Ricker used to try his weed out on me. But now it's someone else's turn to be the guinea pig.
Hey, check it out. Our guy is the founder and CEO of the Restash Cannabis Growler, Adrian Kimberley. Welcome to the Leaf Life Podcast.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Yeah, bro. Excited to talk about the Restash and how that is going straight towards the heart of sustainable packaging. But first, we got to get you high. So let's spin AJ's wheel to see what's in AJ's stash.
And now, what's in AJ's stash?
What's got in there, AJ?
Let's see, you guys.
Yeah.
Ooh, this one looks like it's coming out from the clouds.
Really?
This is Nimbus Cannabis, premium indoor flower. So we know it's Indo, baby.
California.
Yup. So we're going to start off with their sativa strain. It's called Creamsicle.
Aren't you lucky, Adrian?
Oh, yeah. baby.
The goody. He's a stoner, right?
Oh, my goodness.
No pinch hitter this show.
That's
The
right.
nose on that.
I love my flower.
Right on.
Some good shit right there.
Yeah, it's tasty.
I'm going to hand this over to Adrian. You can drop it in your restash there.
Oh.
Ooh.
We're going to talk about the Restash in just a sec. But first, you got to hit that bowl,
Yeah,
bruh.
yeah.
Do it.
All right. She's got the matches out this time and the hemp wick. By the way, if you've never used a hemp wick before, it's imperative, right, Wes, to get the cleanest hit.
Well, when you smoke through a pipe
It's a big
or a
flame.
bong
That's a big
with
flame.
lighter, you're inhaling some butane.
Yeah.
Who knows how much?
Is that a bad thing?
Probably.
I
People
think
smoke
so.
It
cigarettes
taints
every
the
day.
flavor a little. It definitely taints the terp profile.
And I'm
That's
pretty-
what we noticed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure butane doesn't belong in your lungs either.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I should not put my lips around a butane bottle and just suck for
Don't
fun?
do it, baby. You
Don't
gotta
do it?
stop.
Okay.
Stop.
What about nitrous?
Okay, that's fine.
Ooh. How was that? How did that smoke?
Smooth.
Really?
Yeah.
Smells good.
Fruity and
Right on.
smooth.
There's the Nimbus, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Now let's talk
Appreciate it.
about sustainable packaging. Now, I mentioned a moment ago I want to talk about the Restash jar, and let's start the show off with that. It's a mason jar that you guys have built a company around, but you've sort of marketed it to the public as not just a mason jar, but a product that is healthy for the environment and it's reusable. And I know, Adrian, you got the idea for this when you took a trip to the Philippines, because you're a surfer like me, and you went out to an isolated island and you saw plastic on the beaches. That was the impetus for the beginning of this, right? Or am I wrong?
You're correct.
Okay.
100%. Yeah, so, out in an island in the middle of nowhere, remote island, we had to get a permit to go out there. And while I'm, snorkeling amongst, leatherback turtles and coral, reefs, I started to see plastic, mostly like the single-use plastics. It counts for 50% of the plastic in the ocean, and that's your to-go cups, your styrofoam cups, your plastic forks and knives.
But at the end of the day, look, I mean, I could sit here and say we got to clean that up, and we talked about it on the reefing show last week. But, there is a way to do it and do it and still have fun. We don't all have to become tree huggers. It's really just about changing some of the habits that you have. So when it comes to storing your weed, doesn't it make sense to have something that you can continue to use over and over instead of the mylar bags or the doob tubes?
100%. Mylar bags, they have metal in them. You can't recycle them even. Doob tubes, they have to be cleaned out, then recycled. And then you can take it a step further by reusing. That's a direct way to reduce waste. And then you gain the respect.
Yeah.
So the sustainable packaging that we're talking about is a Restash jar. Tell me about the business, about your company, why you started it, and what the Restash jar is.
Cool. So luckily, was in Oregon when I was growing myself medically. And, mason jars are the best because the USA made, it's glass, it doesn't have any toxins in it like doob tubes and mylar bags might have. And, the plant's a living thing. When you cut it down, it's going to absorb its environment. So when you put it directly in the glass, great, you're solid there. And then you got to worry about UV light, temperature fluctuations, and the worst, dropping it and having your stash crack on you.
And mason jars have been used for like hundreds of years.
140
for canning fruits and vegetables,
Yep.
sauces. So we know that they're good for storing things.
Yes.
If you can take a sauce and store it for a year, or take tomatoes and store it in there. So it seems very natural to then take cannabis and cure it and store it in there. You don't see people like putting tomatoes in plastic bags to cure them.
No.
Or like you wouldn't want plastic jars of sauce.
No. And Mason Ball is a true heritage USA made brand. You can trust the quality, and it's coming from a safe source and fair labor. All of the things that matter and that should matter to us. And, we're actually one of their top 5 customers there. Mason Jar's top 5 customers.
Are you guys buying all the mason jars?
Yes, we are. We're all jarred up. And I mean, coming out of the cannabis industry to be one of the top 5 customers of a heritage brand like Mason Ball, that is a huge thing for us and a huge feat.
So for the listeners and viewers out there, just so you know, Adrian and AJ are a couple. And they've built this company together. And the reason we've got you here, Adrian, is because AJ is such a huge proponent of sustainable packaging. In fact, I remember very clearly at our 2023 Oregon Leaf Bowl, she came up on stage, took a Restash jar, threw it onto the ground, and said, "Look, it doesn't smash.
It doesn't break."
Good job.
It's drop proof. Adrian, this is his concept and idea. He actually told me that the idea came to mind. The first inspiration of the Cannabis growler came to mind because he put his mason jars in his duffel bag, after harvest, and they were clinking and clinking around. So he said, "Oh, this is not good. This is too much. Too loud, too suspicious, So he actually went and cut off some old sleeves of his sweaters and different like gear, and then created like a cloth koozie to deal with the sound impact.
That's so cute.
Later in life, ran across this product here that was actually first created for drinking to cut back on plastic and paper waste in the cafe and deli world, because single-use plastic, those types of cups are actually lined with temperature resistant shit. That means that you can't recycle them.
Wow.
They're not biodegradable. You can't recycle them. So he ran into this product that was out there for drinking, and then approached the co-founder of our company, and with the cannabis industry growing and his self being a medical grower, the idea of the Cannabis growler was born. Child resistant lid paired with the koozie that makes it temperature stable, drop proof, equals an exit package solution for deli style states.
Nice.
Tell them about your state, Adrian, where you're from and why you think this way.
Awesome. So in Oregon, we grew up really, Eugene, Oregon, to be specific, very kind of hippie. Grew up on a farm, 5 acres, and we reuse everything in the house. I mean, the chip bag, name it, we'd reuse it.
Good.
And we're lucky that Oregon voted in deli style state. And for those that do not know what deli style means, it means that you can go in and they have all the weed in large mason jars where you can actually smell and see the flower.
Smell it and everything.
And pick your bud.
Yes.
They'll usually have chopsticks or like a little tong.
Oh my God.
And then you can say like how medical cannabis started.
Yes, the OG way.
I want that nug. And it also, cannabis is an agricultural product.
Yes,
so
it is.
it stores better together. Like it's better to store a pound of weed in one big jar than it is to put like 80 jars of, you know, grams and eighths and quarter ounces. And you think about all that waste when we're putting that in plastic. So in Oregon and many states, you go in and you say, I want this weed. And just like how you take your own tote bag back to the grocery store, hopefully, you can take a jar in instead of them putting it in a bag or putting it in a doob tube. And you can even fill it with joints.
Yes. Tell them how much plastic waste we
Well, we'll talk about in the second segment how we're looking to a farmer's market future. But first, brother, it's time for you to play Oregon to the movies.
Ever since I died of dysentery on the Oregon Trail,
It's Oregon. Oregon.
oh, Pacific Northwest, very hot.
This is Oregon to the movies.
Love the fact that you came up here from Oregon, brother. Appreciate you making the effort.
Thank you.
Of course, worth it.
How much do you know about your home state, bud?
Ooh, I'm about to find out.
I got to tell you, Eugene is one of my favorite cities.
Yep.
Yes, it's a hippie city, but like Ken Kesey lived there, right?
Yeah.
He wrote One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Sometimes a Great Notion. And he really, if you look at, if you go to our leafmagazines.com website and look up our August issue and Canthropology, written by Bobby Black, who was at High Times for 21 years.
Shout out Bobby.
Yep. His episode of his column called Canthropology this month, or August, I should say, is about the merry pranksters, featuring Ken Kesey.
There you go.
Jerry Garcia had a house there. He lived there for a long time and stuff. Eugene's just a really cultural, iconic, hippie-ass city. And that's also where the University of Oregon is. Hey, Terp sneezes. All right. These three movies were filmed in the state of Oregon. Can you name them? All right, here you go. Number one, bro. Yes, this young adult romantic vampire movie was set in Forks, Washington. However, many of the scenes were shot in Portland and St. Helens, Oregon.
That Twilight?
Correct.
We just
Good job. Number two. Directed by Sean Penn and set in Alaska, this one also had many scenes shot in Oregon. The film was based on a true story of Chris McCandless and his travels, which tragically ended by him starving to death in a bus in the outback of Alaska. Note, it features a young Kristen Stewart pre-Twilight. John Krakauer book, by the way.
Really good book. Such a good book.
Lost at Sea. I don't know.
That was a hell of a guess, bro. The book and the movie are called Into the Wild. Bro.
There was no sea, Adrian.
He also wrote John Krakauer, who is a Seattle guy. Into Thin Air, Under the Banner of Heaven, and
so
Where
good.
Men Win Glory, The Odyssey of Pat Tillman, who was an NFL player who gave up his career in the NFL to go fight in, I think it was Iraq.
Yeah, or
Was
Afghanistan.
killed by friendly fire.
Killed by friendly fire, man.
Covered up by the government.
Yep.
Wow.
And number three, let's not get into that.
Dun, dun.
Although no cameras were rolling for the most important scene of this movie, it is still notorious for the unforgettable part where a bearded Lorax tips the octopus lady at the world-famous Acropolis Gentlemen's Club. Although the most famous quote of this picture was stolen from another iconic film with no relation to this enigmatic night on the east side of Portland, there's no denying the impact it had on the viewers watching when the octopus lady quoted, "Say hello to my little friend." Wesley's giggling over there. Right, Wes?
What in the
She
world?
wrapped her tentacles around me.
Did she?
Listen, strip clubs in Portland or all over Oregon are very common.
And very naked.
And very naked. You can have food, you can have cocktails, because from what I was told, in the 60s, you know, the hippies came out of the mountain and started writing policy in the state legislature, and they deemed nudity as a freedom of expression.
Damn right. Hell yeah.
Freedom.
Born of a hippie's heart.
Hey, what's the movie, brother?
You know, Goonies?
No, that's a hell of a guess. That could have been the name of the
There's
movie.
that
No
pirate
question about
scene.
it. It was called The Bearded Lorax Want to Lap Dance.
Yeah, it was a
This
hit.
is a real movie.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Is it really the bearded Lorax?
Sure, yes.
Real movie. Just look it up on the dark web.
Yeah, just go ahead, look that up.
Don't send people there, Ricker.
If you want to discover cannabis news, reviews, entertainment, and culture, and explore every Leaf magazine at your convenience, search leafmagazines.com. Coming up in our second segment, we'll dive into a farmer's market future and how it would be beneficial to look back at how we lived sustainably as we move forward. We'll also get another spin of AJ's wheel and kick it all off with another episode of Where in the World with Mary J. White. Leaf Life continues in just a moment.
Your hosts for Leaf Life are Mike Ricker and Wes Abney. Leaf Life is produced by Mike Daly. Some of the music heard is provided by purple-planet.com. Every bit of cannabis you use is female, so please respect the ladies.
Leaf Life is brought to you by Leaf Nation, featuring Alaska Leaf, Oregon Leaf, Northwest Leaf, Northeast Leaf, Maryland Leaf, Amsterdam Leaf, and California Leaf. On the shelf now in your local retailer.
These products have intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming. Marijuana can impair concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence of this drug. There may be health risks associated with consumption of this product. For use by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children.
Some of the wardrobe, including Ricker or Wes's sick lids, is provided by Grassroots California. Check out the dopeness at grassrootscalifornia.com.